Hey guys, Mr. T here, just doing a solutions video for the 2023 General Mathematics SACE exam. So let's get started. Page 1. Question 1. A manufacturer recommends a number of steps to be followed to assemble a children's toy. We've got a network here. Complete the precedence table in table 1 for this network to show the prerequisites for A comes out of the start, so none. B comes out of the start, so also none. C comes out of B. D comes out of B. E requires A and B through the dummy link. F requires both C and D. And G requires E and F. All done. State a task that must always lie in the critical path of this network. It finishes up along task G. All paths must go through G. Must always lie on the critical path. With reference to the network, explain why the dummy link is needed. Needed because. C, D, and E all share B as a prereq, but only E also needs A. The dummy link ensures C and D do not also have A as a prereq. Question 1. Let's make sure that answer's right. You need the dummy link because C, D, and E all share B as a prereq, but E only needs A. E only gets A, as well as B. The dummy link ensures C and D do not also have A as a prerequisite. So if that dummy link wasn't there, this node would be here, A would be linked there, and that would suggest that C and D also require A. With this dummy link here, E requires A and B, C and D require B only. Alright, page 2. The network diagram below is repeated in the version below. The completion time for each task is provided. Carry out a forward and backward scan. 0, 8, 8 plus 0 is 8, 5 is smaller than 8, so leave it. 8, 15, 8, 18. Biggest number. 8 and 12 is going to be 20. 18 and 6 is 24 is the biggest number. 24, 27. Backwards, 27, 24, 18. 18 take 10, 8. 18 take 7, 11. 24 take 12, 12. 12 take 0 is 12. 12 take 5 is 7. 8 take 8 is 0. Say the minimum completion time for the network. This is in minutes, 27 minutes. Next page. This seems to be quite an easy exam so far. The waiting times for non-crit patients to be attended in emergency department. Oh, it's definitely South Australia. This is a topical one. Mean 3, standard deviation 1.1. Probability of non-critical patient have a waiting time between 3.4 and 4.5. It's probability, so it's normal CDF. Probability of percentage, lowest is 3.4. Highest is 4.5, mean is 3.4, standard deviation is 1.1. Put that into the calculator. Second vase, normal CDF, 3.4, 4.5, 3.4, 1.1. Paste 0.3413 to 4 decimal points. Therefore, 34.13% probability. Having a waiting time between 3.4 and 4.5. In 1 month, 5,500 people were attended in the emergency department. How many people would be expected to wait more than 2 hours? So find the probability first with normal CDF. More than 2 hours. So lower is 2, upper is infinity, positive infinity, so E99, 3.4, 1.1. This gives you the probability of waiting longer than 2 hours. 2 second E99. Paste 0.8984 to 4 dp. That's the probability or proportion times by the 5,500 people. 84 times 5,500. 4941.2. Therefore, 4941 people expected to wait more than 2 hours. A study estimates that the 29% of non-critical patients who experience the longest waiting times are more likely to experience complications in their recovery. What's the shortest waiting time? Shortest waiting time for a patient who would be more likely to experience. So the top 29% of waiting times, we want the bottom of that. So this is an in-norm question. If you have an old calculator that you cannot do the tails, you can't change the direction of the tails, you would put 0.71, which is the same as the opposite of 29%, or 0.29, 3.4, 1.1. This is for the old calculator, okay, because it can only have a tail to the left. So, unfortunately, this calculator I have here is the new one, which has the options for tail left, center, right. But I'm pretending that I have an old calculator, which by default only goes to the left. So you would do this example that I'm doing here, 0.71. You do the inverse of 29%, tail left, paste it, and it's going to say 4.01 to 2 dp. But if you have a newer calculator or in norm, you have the newer calculator like what I have here, you can set the tail to the right because we're talking about the top 29%, and 29% is a decimal 0.29. Paste, and you can see you get the same answer, 0.29, 3.4, 1.1, right, 4.01, again to 2 decimal points. Therefore, shortest waiting time of 4.01 hours for the ones more likely to experience complications in their recovery. Okay. Next page. The waiting times for non-critical patients to be attended in emergency department of hospital B, normal distributed, mean of 2.1, standard deviation 0.7. They claim that 25% of non-critical patients will be attended to within 1.5. Use maths. There's 2 ways to do this. I'm going to do normal CDF first. We're claiming that they'll be attended within 1.5 hours. So less than 1.5 hours. So let's find the percentage that is less than 1.5 hours. So negative infinity, 1.5 is the highest I'm interested in. Mean of 2.1, standard deviation 0.7. Normal CDF, that's already in there, 1.5, 2.1, 0.7. We get 0.1957 to 4 dp. Therefore, 19.57% are attended to within 1.5 hours, not 25%, therefore unsupported. The claim is unsupported. The other way you could do it is inverse norm, or inv norm. And we're interested in the bottom 25% of times, so 0.25, 2.1, and 0.7. Zero 0.25, 2.1, 0.7, tail on the left. That says the quickest 25% of people attended to is within 1.63 hours, not 1.5, so again, therefore, unsupported. You can argue the point. Either way, they both say the same thing, that the claim is unsupported. The way I did it initially is that I worked out that only 19.57% of people are met within 1.5 hours, therefore the claim's unsupported, but you could also do it this way to see where the line is, how many hours that bottom 25% are met with, and you can see it's above the claim of 1.5, so two different ways. The diagram below shows the probability distributions for non-critical patients. What are the mean and standard deviation for the waiting times for non-critical patients to be attended in the emergency department of hospital C? C is here, and it has the same mean as hospital B, which is 2 and a bit. So the closest is 2 and a bit, 2.1. The standard deviation in hours. Distributions are about 3 standard deviations wide. So 1, 2, 3. It finishes slightly above -1, so, or at -1. Very close to -1, so that's about 3 away. What's 3 divided by, what goes 3 times into 3? Around 1. So it's going to be this. From the probability distribution diagram above, the following statement can be made. It's statistically possible for a non-critical patient to be attended to with less than 0 hours of waiting time. Yeah, because it's the part of that distribution is below 0. Why is this unreasonable? Well, a number of things. Impossible to have negative time unless in this context it means seeing patients early. We don't know that. Generally, you want positive time. We don't know for sure, so that's one thing that I'm going to throw out there. We only have 1 mark here, so I'll give you another option. The other thing is that if the mean is here, it's 3 standard deviations here, it's about 2 standard deviations away. That percentage there is like 0.13 and 2.15, I think. I've got to check my got to check the textbook. 0.13 on the very edge. This is just going to take from my time, but that's good. This is pretending to look at my cheat sheet and looking at the normal distribution diagram. It's not exactly, but it's close. Normal distribution. What are the percentages? 0.13, 2.15. So this area here is about is 2.28%, or approximately, which is very low as well. Statistically possible? Well, 2.28% is not very possible. So also, even if negative times were okay, the second standard deviation away from the mean of hospital C is around the 0 mark. So approx only about 2.28% chance of being seen with less than 0 wait time. So not probable anyway. Can't even spell. Not probable anyway if negative time possible. If negative time made sense. Couple options for you there. That's page 5 out of the way. Question 3. The management team of a sports club is considering 2 options, A and B, for borrowing 95 grand to conduct an immediate upgrade of change rooms, interest-only loan, flat rate 6.8, requires the club to make quarterly deposits in a sinking fund. Sinking fund's at 2.95%. Calculate the yearly interest payment for the interest-only loan. SI is equal to the principal of 95,000 times by flat rate of 0.068, and it's only for the 1 year payment. So 95,000 times 0.068 times by 1, 64.60 per year. Calculate the quarterly payments the club must make into the sinking fund. So N. Interest-only loan, it's for 8 years. 8 years times by quarterly, so 432. Interest rate of the sinking fund is 2.95%. Doesn't say anything about them starting with money in the sinking fund, so nothing. PMT is what we're looking up, or trying to work out. FV, they want to have 95,000 at the end of the term. PY and CY are both 4. Compounding quarterly, paying quarterly. So, apps, finance, TVM, 32, 2.95, nothing, 95,000, 4, negative 2643.09, 2 decimal points. Better for do not disturb mine, so I don't get emails. 2643.09. Therefore, $2,643.09 quarterly. Show that the total cost of option A for the club is approximately $136,000. So simple interest is going to be the $95,000 times by the rate 0.068 for the 8 years. 95,000 times by 0.068 times by 8, 51680. And the sinking fund is 32 payments of $2,643.09. 32 times 2,643.09. $84,578.88. Add the 51,680. Total $136,258.88. Therefore, approx $136,000. Just gotta check security cameras. Neighbours just gardening. More time taken away. That's fine, we'll finish on time. We should finish around 20 minutes early. Now, I think statewide the total cost stated in Part C1 is less than the amount that will be repaid to the credit union because payments into the sinking fund earn interest to reach the needed FV. Page 6, out of the way. A reducing balance loan from a bank. That's not really well written. This just comes out of nowhere. Option B, a reducing balance loan from a bank for 8 years. Interest is 5.75, compound monthly. Monthly service charge 25. Comparison rate. Find PMT first. We don't know anything about this loan. So 8 years, monthly times 12 is 96. The interest rate is 5.75. PV is the 95,000 that they borrowed in the first place. PMT is what we're trying to work out. What do I want to owe the bank at the end of the loan? Nothing. PY and CY are both 12. Apps, finance, TVM, 96, 5.75, 95 grand. Nothing, 12 and 12. Ooh. 12 and 12. Alpha, enter. Negative 1236.90 to 2 decimal points. Now we find the rate, because now we know what the PMT is that we can apply the extra 25 to. PV is 95,000. We didn't have to change the PV because there isn't a setup fee or anything like that. PMT is now going to be $1,236.90 minus 25. 99, $90.90. Take 25 is going to be negative $1,261.90. FV equals nothing. PY and CY both 12. Solve for the rate. 6.29 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, 6.29% per annum. Comparison rate. Calculate the total cost of option B for the club. Well, you're going to make 96 payments of $1,261.90. $1,21142.40 total cost. Suggest one reason why the club might not select the cheaper option when borrowing $95,000. There's not really very many good reasons, so this is going to be iffy. I'm just going to throw them out there. They might be happy with the treatment, service from, because option A was a credit union. The credit union might want to continue supporting the credit union versus big banks. The only other thing I could think of is prefer to pay less often. Quarterly and once a year for the interest-only payments versus monthly. I don't know, 1 mark, just chuck a reason there. I'm not sure why you'd ever want to pay more for something. Inflation over this 8-year period is predicted to average 4.5% per annum. Calculate the value of 95,000 indexed for inflation in 8 years' time. Indexed value is the original value, 95,000, times by 1 plus I, which is 0.045, to the power of 8. 1.045 to the power of 8 is a number, times by 95,000. You're going to get $1,350.99.56 to 2 decimal points. State one limitation of waiting 8 years to upgrade the change rooms rather than doing the upgrade immediately. Well, that inflation question links to that. Cost of upgrade will increase over time due to inflation. So it's not just going to be 95,000 that you spend. Other reason, might need the facilities now. Now, not in 8 years. To keep players who might leave in the meantime. If my toilets and change rooms suck, well, I'm probably going to leave, not wait for 8 years to fix it. All right, so that's page 7 done. Question 4. Table 2 shows the number of long-footed potoroos. That's a first. During a 5-year breeding program, using a linear model, calculate Pearson's correlation coefficient. I need to chuck data into the table. 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60, 80, 91, 100, 119, 134, 136, 156, 151, 175, 196, 199. Use a linear model to find Pearson's. Stat, calc, linreg. Don't have any of that data. I need to turn diagnostics on, press matrix to scroll down to the D's enter, diagnostics on, press enter, stat, calc, linreg, Pearson's is there, R is equal to 0.9899 to 4dp. Hence, statewide would be considered appropriate to make predictions based on a linear model for the data, while R being 0.9899 indicates a very strong positive linear correlation. Tick the model which best represents the equation of the least squares regression line using the data from table 2. Well, I was told that A was 2.01. Well, that's the only option. This is the only one that has the slope as 2.01. So tick. Using your model from part B, complete the following statement to describe the A value of your least squares regression line. For every additional month in the breeding program, and the time was in months, the number of potoroos will, the slope is positive, so increase by 2.01 potoroos. To predict the time when the number of potoroos would reach 300 in the breeding program. Well, our model is n equals 2.01 t plus 79.5. So n, we are saying, is 300 equals 2.01. Predict the time, we don't know the time, that's what we're working out, plus 79.5. Opposite of adding 79.5 is taking it. 300 take 79.5 is a number, 220.5 equals 2.01 t. Opposite of timesing by 2.01 is dividing by 2.01. Cancels t is going to be 220.5 divided by 2.01. 109.70 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, 109.70 months to reach 300 potoroos. Page 8 down. At the end of the 5-year breeding program, the potoroos were released into the natural habitat. Shows the number of potoroos in the next 4.5 years in the natural habitat. A recording error was someone stuffed up. Which of the following is the outlier? 0, 199. They seem to be increasing as we go every 6 months. 199, that's like increase of 9. Increase a little bit more than 9. This went down, then it increased again. Increase. So the only time it went down was 18 and 204. So I would say that that is the outlier. If you are not sure, you could draw the graph very quickly and see which one goes against the relationship. Remove the outlier you've selected in part D. Using correct variables, say the least regression line equation. Have to put the data in. Clear. 0, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 199, 208. I'm just putting the data in, then I'll remove the outlier after. 204, 261, 276, 294, 312, 328, 341. Remove the outlier, so I haven't yet. I just put the data in raw, and I told you it was 18204, so delete. Using correct variables, so I can't just say x and y, stat, calc, linreg, So the variables were n, I can't use t because the t was used previously. Time in months was t. Here it's m, so it's 2.75 m plus 194.69, all rounded to 2 decimal points, as you can see from the calculator. Using the model from part E, predict the time it will take for the number of potoroos to reach 300 after being released in the natural habitat. 300 equals 2.75 m plus 194.69. Opposite of adding 194.69 is taking it. 300 take 194.69. 105.31 equals 2.75 m. Opposite of timesing by 2.75 is dividing by it. 105.31 divided by 2.75 m is equal to 38.29 to 2 decimal points months. Did I put... No, I responded to that in a sentence. After being released into the natural habitat, 38.29 months. Using the answers for part C2, which is that, and F, which is 38.29, comment on the length of time it takes for the number of potoroos to reach 300 if they were in the breeding program versus natural habitat. Takes much longer. Longer in the program to reach 300, 109.7 months versus 38.29 months in the habitat. This is because it started off with more potoroos in the natural habitat. And they reproduced faster as well, with almost 3 per month versus only 2 in the breeding program. So I'm just making observations in regards to the y-intercept, the starting amount of potoroos, and also the slope. The breeding program started off with less, so it's a little unfair. And you had 2 more potoroos per month, whereas here this is closer to 3 and starting off with more. So you could see it just asks you to comment on the length of time. So I already commented on that. I said it took a lot longer, but I'm trying to get my 2 marks and give reasoning for it. If it was asking you to compare and contrast, then really you would really comment only on the slope, okay? Because it shows that when they're in the natural habitat, they reproduce a little faster, but it's kind of unfair to compare because they started off with more anyway, all right? So I think I answered that question for those 2 marks there. That's page 9 done. Question 5, table 4 below shows the number of hours of training that 4 apprentice electricians have been given to do certain tasks. Which statement is the correct interpretation of 73? That is definitely Jacob. number of hours. So this is wrong. It's not days. It's got nothing to do with his age. It's diagnosing wire issues. Has 73 drawings to interpret. If you lose a mark on that question, you need help, okay? B, calculate the total number of hours of training that Benji has had as an apprentice electrician based on the info above. So Benji, 57, 55, 66, and 61. 57, 55, 66, 61, 239 hours of training total. The 4 apprentices will be working a major project. For each task, the project manager wishes to allocate the apprentice with the most hours. State why this is not possible. They want to give the person with most hours. Most hours was Kelly for wiring. Most hours was Kelly for installing, repairing, and that's the reason why. Kelly has the most hours for all tasks. So, yep, you can't have Kelly do everything, all right? That's page 10. Hungarian algorithm will be applied to maximize. The original array below has been reduced. State the process that was used to go from the original array to the reduced one above. All numbers subtracted from the largest 195 in original array. So you got the reduced one. Complete the remaining steps along Hungarian algorithm below. Show the result of each step. Smallest number in the row, 29. Smallest number, 16. Smallest number, 0. Smallest number, 13. Subtract. 29, 39, 9, 11, 29, 20, 0, 5, 6, 14, 0, 4, and take nothing, 13, 7, 0, 5, 44, 3, 0, 44 again. Smallest number, 6, smallest number 3, smallest number 0, smallest number 4. 3, 0, 7, 38, 8, 11, 4, 0, nothing, 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 1, 0, 1, 40. Cover the zeros. 4, 3, 2. 3 lines only. Smallest uncovered number, 1. So, take it from other uncovered, 2, 7. Leave single covered, 0. Take, leave, leave. Add to double covered, 1. Leave, take, take, leave, take, leave, leave, add, leave. 3 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 1 0. Select alone in row column. No, alone in row column, definitely not. Alone in its row, no. Alone in its column, yes. Alone in its row column, no. Row column, no. Row column, no. Row. and column, yes. So we have a situation here. The only rows and columns to select are these two and these two, and you'll notice that there's zeros in the same rows and columns. So we have a multiple optimal solution situation here. That's page 11 done. I haven't done the selection, but it's going to be easier if I write the names and stuff there. Benji, Jacob, Kelly, Sarah. Benji, Jacob, Kelly, Sarah. Wiring. Install. Repair. Interpret. Hence, complete the table 5 below, stating the name of the apprentice allocated to each task for the two optimal solutions. Solution 1, wiring, went to Jacob. Installing systems was Sarah. They also do it for solution 2. But these are the options now. Benji could do the repair. If Kelly is doing the drawings, or Kelly could do the repair if Benji is doing the drawings. Total experience and hours. Okay, we need to... What was the pattern? What do we have? 73 plus 79 is 152. You've got 66 plus 90 is 156, or 95 plus 61. Also 156, 156 plus 152, 308. So the total time for both is 308, 308. State one limitation of using the Hungarian algorithm to allocate tasks to apprentices in this particular context. Only considering training hours. Some people could take forever being taught, but they still suck, so this doesn't account for their ability to do the job, only considering training hours, not ability. What else? Only care about total hours of training, experience. Does it say that we have to, that they have to do the stuff separately? Yeah. Ignores that they could actually do the tasks the hours of training has nothing to do with the task that they're aiming to do. Ignores that they actually could do the tasks at the same time. Tasks will be assigned to all people, even if not ideal. So yeah, the limitations here would be about the fact that you're trying to assign people a task based on a measurement that has nothing to do with the task itself. You're just assigning people to a task based on how long that they've been studying to do that task, but not there's no information about the tasks themselves, whether they can be done simultaneously, how good these people are at the task. Okay, so it's 1 mark, but here's some options that you could chuck out there. Page 12 done. Question 6. Grace took out a home loan. Wow, they're not super woke names this year. $356,000 for 25 years, interest rate of 5.11, compounded monthly. Show that Grace would pay approximately $2,100 per month in loan repayments, and is going to be 25 monthly, 12, that's 300. Interest rate is 5.11. PV is 356,000. Solving for PMT, FV is nothing. PY and CY are both 12. Apps, finance, TVM, 300. 5.11. 356 grand. Solve. Negative 2104.02 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, approx 2,100 per month. Calculate the total interest that Grace would be expected to pay for the 25-year loan. Interest on a loan is PMT times by N minus PV minus FV. So 356,000, take nothing. $300 times by 2104.02. Take away 356,000. 275,206 interest. State 2 reasons why your solution to part A could be considered unreasonable. Interest rates likely to change over 25 years, meaning this calculation in 2 is completely wrong. The payments would change, might pay it off sooner, you never know. Just that likely change over 25 years, changing PMT. What else? Ignores possibly paying more per month or lump sum payments to pay off loan faster. Ignores negatives like missing a payment, payments, making loan take longer. Show that the remaining balance in the loan after 3 years is approximately $333,000. 3 years is 36 months. The interest rate is 5.11. PV is equal to 356,000. PMT is equal to negative 2104.02. FV is what I'm solving for. The remaining balance, PY and CY, they're both 12. Apps, finance, TVM, 36. FV is equal to negative 333,173.60 to 2 decimal points. This particular exam, this 2023 one, has a lot of... I did not round this to 2 decimal points, 2104.02. Like I said in the working out, 333,173.59. 59 rounded to 2 decimal points, therefore approx 333000. Yes, this particular exam has a lot of checkpoints to help you know that you're on the right track. So yes, definitely one of the easier ones that I've seen so far. That's page 13 done. At this time, 3 years after the start of the loan, Grace won 50 grand. In a lottery, she has the option to immediately deposit an offset account. State the new balance that the interest will be calculated on as soon as 50 grand is deposited. Well, the balance was $333,173.59, and she's taking off 50 grand. 333,173.59, take 50,000. 283,173.59. Calculate the remaining balance after 4 years, assuming repayments do not change. So we're doing an offset of 50 grand. And 4 years is 48 months. Interest rate. They haven't changed the interest rate, PV. With the offset is 283,173.59 PMT. The payments don't change, and they were 2104. Let's check. Yep, 2104.02. We want to know what the remaining balance is after 4 years of offset. So solve for FV, PY, and then CY are both 12. So 48, 5.11, 283,173.59. Alpha, enter. That tells us we've got $235,451.31 left. Therefore, $235,451.31 remaining balance. Calculate the interest saved over the duration of the loan by placing the 50 grand in the offset. Whoa. Here is the hard part of the exam. This is a tricky one. Many steps, many numbers that you could stuff up. The interest for the default loan is going to be the 275,206 we worked out before. 275,206 that we worked out before. But we have a giant calculation here because we have 3 parts to the loan with the offset. First 3 years. 36 payments of 2104.02. Take the loan started off at 356,000. Take away, what did it get down to when we started the offset? 333,173.59. 333,173.59. Second quit. 36 times 2104.02 take away 356,000 take 333,173.59. $52,918.31 interest in the first 3 years. Interest during the offset. The offset was for 4 years, so 48 payments of 2104.02. Take away. The balance at the start of the offset was 283,173.59, and we got it down to $235,451.31. So the amount of interest that we paid in that time was 48 times by 2104.02. Take 283,173.59, take 235,451.31. 53,270.68. Interest after we don't know the interest after. We need to do a TVM for this. N. We need to know how long it's going to take. 5.11 PV. The remaining balance after the offset is removed is going to be the 235,451.31, but add the 50 grand back on. So 285,451.31. PMT remains the same. Negative 2104.02 FV at the end of the line is going to be nothing. PY and CY are both going to be 12. How long is that going to take? 202.88 to 2 decimal points. So 202.88 payments of 2104.02 minus 285,451.31 take nothing. 202.88 times by 2104.02 take 285,451.31. 141,412.27 to 2 decimal points. Total interest is the sum of those three sections, 52918.31 plus, that's not point, 52918.31 plus 53270.68 plus 141,412.27 247,601.26. Therefore, only 3 marks for this. Damn. Interest saved is 275,206 minus the 247,601.26. 275,206 minus 247,601.6. 27604.74. Interest saved for the offset of 50 grand. Okay, that is that done. A friend suggested that Grace should instead invest the $50,000 in an investment account with a return of 4.79 compounded fortnightly. Showed that the balance of the investment after 4 years is approximately $60,500, and 4 years compounded fortnightly, 4 times 26, 104. The interest rate is 4.79 PV. You are putting in 50 grand, so negative 50,000. No payments, you're just letting it sit there and compound interest. We are solving for how much is in the account. PY and CY are fortnightly, so 26. Apps, finance, TVM, 104, 4.79, negative 50,000. No payments, 26 for both. FV alpha enter 6548.62 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, approx 60,500. Hence, calculate the interest on the investment over the 4 years. Interest on an investment is equal to the FV, $6548.62, minus what you put in the first place, which was 50 grand, is $10,548.62 interest. Grace has a marginal tax rate of 37%. What's the total tax to be paid on the 4-year investment? Tax equals the amount of interest times by the marginal tax rate is a decimal, 0.37, $10,548.62 times by 0.37, 3902.99 to 2 decimal points. With reference to solutions to parts C and D, so D is the investment, C was the offset. Which option would be better for Grace? Tick the appropriate box, and 2 reasons. Offset is better. Offset saves how much did it save? 27604.74. 27604.74 interest on the loan. Which is, well, that's more than double the interest earned on the investment. After tax, the investment only earns $10,548.62 minus a tax $3,902.99. 10,548.62 minus 3,902.99. What's that? $6,645.63. $6,645.63. After tax, the investment only earns, which is even worse for the investment in comparison to the offset saving. The offset saved $27,604.74 in interest. Ignoring tax, that's still double the interest earned on the investment. If I did consider tax, that just makes that whole statement even worse. Offset also saves her a year on the loan, allowing her to invest elsewhere earlier. Okay, multiple reasons, 2 marks. Make sure you just got 2 statements there. Page 15 done. Question 7, magicians spend time learning and practicing new tricks. Table 6 below shows the time spent studying in hours, linear regression. I need to add a residual. I can only do residuals if I've entered data. Enter data. So enter the data. 10, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 4, 7, 10, 19, 27, 48. Do a linear regression. Calc, lin, reg. I've done a linear regression. Now it's drawn a line of best fit, so now I can go into L3. Second stat for list, and I can tell it to fill it in with residuals. 3.59, 2.09, negative 3.92, just checking, negative 3.92, so for negative 4.92. 7.0, they didn't round properly here, because it's 7.08. That stays for you, okay? Complete the table 8 below for Sensational Sam's data. So go back to the stat calc, lin, reg, quad reg, what? Lin, reg, trying to be too fast. R squared for linear is 0.9098 to 4 dp. And it wants you to try exponential. So stat, calc, expreg, same data. R squared is 0.9857 to 4 dp. Using evidence from parts A and B1, discuss which model best fits Sensational Sam's data. Firstly, there is a clear U pattern to the residual plot. It goes down and then it goes up again. And R squared is much closer to 1 with the exponential model. Therefore, exponential model best fits. Discuss which model best fits. Exponential model best fits. It's 2 marks. Page 16 done. Residual plot for the exponential model is shown below. That's nice scatter. Up, down, up, down, up. Circle the corresponding residual plot in the graph that results in the greatest underestimate of tricks mastered based on the exponential model of the data. The estimate is the line. So if the line is here and the actual data was there, the line overestimated. So an underestimate is when the residual dot is above the line, and the greatest underestimate is for this here. So circle the corresponding residual plot with the greatest underestimate. Marvelous Max has been training for a similar time to Sensational Sam, and the tricks mastered by Max have this model. Interpret the value of A. A indicates max, new 2.14, so 2 tricks before studying. What does B indicate? B indicates max. Max learns around 5% more tricks per hour of study, because 1.052 minus 1 is equal to 0.052, therefore 5.2%, therefore around 5%. Predict the number of hours of study required for Marvelous Max to master 48 tricks. So you go on the graphics calculator, you go y1 is equal to 48. You go y2, using Max's model, 2.14 times by 1.052 to the power of x. You graph that, and intersect at, so let's graph it, 48. 2.14 times by 1.052 to the power of x. Graph it, we're not going to see, so we zoom out until the intersect is definitely on the screen. It's definitely on the screen. Second calc for trace, intersect, first curve, second curve, guess. Oop, that's wrong. That curve is 10.52, so I typed it in incorrectly. It should be 1.052. Graph it again. Okay, now Second trace, calc, intersect. That looks a little better. At 61.3648, rounded to 2 decimal points. Predict the number of hours of study, therefore 61.36 hours to master 48 tricks. Using graphs of the 2 exponential models provided, or by some other method, predict after how many hours of study Sensational Sam and Marvelous Max will have mastered the same number of tricks. So basically we want their models to cross. So what was Sensational Sam? Exponential 3.58, 1.026. 3.58 times by 1.026 to the power of x, and max was 2.14 times by 1.052 to the power of x. Graph and intersect at. So replace this with Sam's 3.58 times by 10. Why do I keep doing that? 0.026 to the power of x. Graph. They cross at some point there. I can't see it, but the calculator can. They cross at 20.56, comma, 6. That's a 0. That's not 8. 6.07 to 2 decimal points. Therefore, both will master 6.07 tricks, so 6, after 20.56 hours of study. That's page 17 done. Second to last question. Network diagram below shows the task to be completed so that students on a camp can start their hike. The times taken for completing tasks are in minutes. So, there's only 8 questions in this exam. Normally there's 9. Oh wow. So network, discrete models, statistics, finance, so one of each type. One of each type. 2 discrete, 2, 1, 1. 2 discrete, 2 stats, 1 finance, 2 of each type. Now, 2, 3, 2. This is a third statistics question. 2, 3, 3. They only had 2 finance questions in the 2023 exam. That's crazy. The front cover, it's only questions 1 to 8. Wow. Normally they have 9 questions, 3 of each type, so it's definitely was an easier exam. So unfortunately, if you're going to be taking the exam in 2024, you're probably going to get smashed because they like to alternate difficulties. Sorry to say, state the time taken to complete task C. Ooh, it doesn't say. We need to work our way through this. I'm going to do a forward scan. 0, there's only one way here, 0 to 5, so they must have added 5. There's only one way through C, it must have been 10. There are 2 ways. There's 2 ways through here. we don't know which of these pathways is going to lead there. There's only one, so multiples we can't work that out. Single path, 22 to 37, that's 15. 22 to 43, 21. That 43 is clearly through the dummy link, so we don't know anything about G currently. Two different ways. Two different ways here, but we have a difference. So 69 take 32. I think it's safe to say that H takes 32. 69 take 18. K takes 18. 69 to 83. That's 14. 83 to 72, 11. 72 take nothing, 72. $51 take 21. It's going to give you 30 on F. 37 take 15, 22. Well, we can work these out because you've got two critical paths here. There's no slack time. So 22 take 10 is 12. 22 take 5 is 17. This G we don't know anything about. It's sketchy. Never seen a question like this before. State the time taken to complete task C. Well, 10 minutes, I think. Yeah, it's in minutes. Tick the correct option to complete the statement below. The total time to complete task A and B is shorter than the total time to complete tasks C and D. That can't be it because that's a critical path. There's no slack. There's no slack. They take the same amounts of time. Longer than the total time. Can't be longer, otherwise there'd be only one critical path. Yeah, same for these two, you're basically saying the same thing. The same as the total time, the same. State the time taken to complete task K. 69 take 51. 51, 61, 60, yeah. 18 minutes. State the latest starting time for task F. (51) take 21 is 30. Wait, just double check. Is it? There's only one way here. 22, 32, 42, 43, 21, 51. So I know that's 21. 51 take 21 is going to be 30. Yeah, 30 minutes. State the latest time for task F, 30 minutes. Which of the following tasks has the greatest slack time? Tick the appropriate box to indicate your answer. Task D had no slack time. Task F had 8. Task K. 51 take 43, 8. Task J. 72 take 43. 43, 53, 63, 73 is 30. Minus 1, 29. This is really getting to me. I need to check this. It's a bit iffy here. 22, 32, 42 is going to be 20 plus 1. That's 21. 51. Sure, I could just use the calculator. 43, 21, 51, take 21, 30. Yeah. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble with that. 22 to 30 is 8. Okay, which of the following tasks is the greatest slack time? Task J. The time taken to complete task G cannot be calculated from the network diagram. Yep, I already said that was sketchy. Complete the following statement. Task G will take more than something minutes, but at most something minutes to complete. Ooh, I've never seen a question like this before. It's not saying that the network can be changed. So we have to assume that this is all correct. We're not going to change any of that. So what range can G's duration take that is not going to change any of this? This is going to change. This number on the left is going to change if the path through G causes it to be bigger than 43. So what's 43? 21. So if G was 21, this remains 43. If G was 22, so 22 plus 22, 22 plus 22, this would become 44, so this would be changed. That can't happen. So it's going to take at most 21 minutes to complete, but will take more than something minutes. Well, I remember at the start it said that it must take more than 0 minutes, so I'm going to write that there for now. And let's think of, is there a way to work out the lower end of this? If G was 1, this is still going to be 43. If G was 2, this is still going to be 43. It just has to be more than 0, and there's no way. We don't know how long G is going to be. We don't know how long it is exactly. We don't know what the backward scan boxed number is going to be. I'm just assuming the reason why they gave you this T is greater than 0 minutes is to answer this question. So we're just going to write G will take more than 0 minutes, but at most 21 minutes to complete. I'm going to put a question mark there because I've never seen anything like that before, and I've got no way to check it. It's the best answer that I can do. There are two critical paths within the network. State all tasks that are critical within the network. There, no slack, no slack, no slack, no slack, no slack, no slack, no slack. A, B, C, D, E, H, L. A, B, C, D, E, H, L. It's not asking for the critical path, it's just stating all the tasks that are critical within the network. So all the tasks on the critical paths. What effect will reducing task D by 3 minutes have on the critical path and overall completion time? If D took 3, so if D took 9, If D took 9, this would still be 22 because B takes 17 and through AB it wouldn't have an effect as far as I can tell. What effect will it have on the critical path? It will mean there is only one critical path. A, B, E, H, and L. That should be a colon. No C and D anymore. But this will not affect the completion time at all. It will remain at, how long did it say it took? 83 minutes. So, what effect will reducing task D by 3 minutes have on the critical path or paths? It means there's only one critical path, so it reduces the number of critical paths and overall completion time. It has no effect on the completion time. So that's page 19 done. Blank. I was expecting a question 9, which it has been since I started teaching, but it looks like they cut it down a little bit. So yeah, I guess it's a slightly easier exam, except for question 8. There's a lot of tricky bits here that I've not seen previously, and also the offset interest question would take a long time too, so I think they were trying to compensate for that. Yeah, so hopefully that helps you out, and I'll see you in the next video.